Okay, astrology slash energy update for the week of November 4th. It is Monday, and I pulled some tarot cards and I wanted to share the messages that came through via these cards. I'm also going to weave in the astrology, the transits that are happening in the sky, so weave that into these cards and kind of the energy that we're moving through using these two modalities. So, to first share the cards with you, and everybody has a different process of pulling cards. For me, it's very like organic and fluid and just whatever feels good to me. I have a lot of water in my chart, Cancer and Scorpio energy, so I do a lot based on feelings and sensing things and just what feels right to me. So I like to shuffle the cards. I'll shuffle it a few different ways before I let the cards fall out, but I like to just kind of go through it and let the cards fall out as I shuffle the deck. So the first card that I got is the Five of Swords. And I just like to take some time to sit with the card. You know, if you want to look up the meaning of the card, that's cool. I'll do that too and just see what keywords stand out to me. But I like to first just look at the card and sit with it and take in its energy and see what comes up for me while I'm looking at the card. So, Five of Swords, the Queen of Wands, and the Knight of Cups. Okay, so I'm just going to channel what comes through me based on these cards and the astrology. So, got the chart pulled up here. So first with the Five of Swords, I feel like, you know, the image in the card, the man is looking back at the things that he's lost. So I interpret this in a few different ways. I'm receiving about with Mercury going retrograde and Mercury being in Scorpio. So to break that down into English, it's like retrogrades are a time for reviewing, for re-examining, for revisiting things, and this first card is sadness. There's like sadness that's coming through. Yeah, I was already crying a little bit as I was pulling these cards and journaling and doing my morning meditation process. But it's like we're looking back at the things that have not worked, or the ways that we, with this Mercury retrograde, we're re-examining so many different things. So maybe it's like situations that haven't worked out in the ways that you would have liked. Maybe you're just looking back to the past and having so much compassion and love and acceptance for yourself, and just a deeper understanding of why you've done things in the past, like why you've operated in ways that were not fully in integrity, or like the repeating of old patterns and old cycles. So I feel like we're seeing that really clearly. We're going deeper and deeper into this work as Mercury is traveling through Scorpio. Mercury, how our mind works and how we communicate, is going back in Scorpio into the deep, dark waters of the Scorpio energy, which holds everything in our psyche, in our subconscious, that is uncomfortable, that people don't like to look at. All the taboo things, death, rebirth, transformation. Like, transformation sounds beautiful, but the process of getting there is the phoenix rising from the ashes. But first it has to be burnt down and completely destroyed, and then something new grows from that. So there's a lot of reflection, a lot of introspection around old patterns, around old situations, around people in our lives, maybe around like new awarenesses around how we've operated out of fear, because that very much represents the Scorpio energy. It's like being very fearful, and not wanting to be vulnerable, not wanting to be seen, always, the Scorpio energy can be very reclusive. So I feel like we're looking back on a lot of stuff. We're looking back on maybe, ways that we've shown up that weren't healthy for us, or giving our time and our energy to people that don't deserve it, or understanding how we've unconsciously repeated cycles that have been passed down in our family. We saw our parents act a certain way, and then we continue along on that pattern until we can grow within ourselves enough, like consciousness and awareness, to self-actualize, to be a witness and an observer of what we're doing. So yeah, I feel like waves of sadness throughout this retrograde, just allowing yourself to go into those spaces, to allow yourself to be cleansed and washed clean, allowing yourself to cry and letting your emotional body clean itself, to wash itself free, clean of the past, and to see how you've operated in the past, maybe like scarcity mindset, just being so fearful. I feel this one deeply. Okay, if you subscribe to the belief of reincarnation and that we've lived many lifetimes, and if your soul has come in multiple lifetimes where it's been like life or death, or it hasn't been safe to express, this comes up a lot in the past life regression work that I do for people. A lot of people being a witch, a healer, a medicine woman, just somebody that knows how to work with the earth and energy. And so in the past, and even today, they can be met with resistance. And so if your soul has that imprint of being met with resistance over so many lifetimes, maybe being killed, maybe being killed by a family member, maybe just needing to escape death often, then you're gonna come in to this lifetime having those imprints. So an opportunity that comes to you in this lifetime that holds the charge of you needing to be brave and to step out of your comfort zone and to do this new thing. But maybe in the past, when you did something similar in a past life, you were met with resistance, or maybe you were killed, or maybe something extreme happened. So now your ego thinks that it's protecting you by kind of keeping you sheltered and in not doing these new experiences. So yeah, we're moving through a lot. I'm moving through a lot, feeling a lot, and it's okay to go into those spaces, to cry, to be moved emotionally, letting your emotional body cleanse itself. But anyways, to come back to the card, the Five of Swords, I think we're looking back and understanding things from a deeper perspective. That's what retrograde periods represent, and with it Mercury being retrograde, it's how we're processing information right now. We're looking back to the past and seeing things more clearly. I mean, when the retrograde period is over and Mercury's out of shadow in December, maybe it'll be even more clear. You'll be able to take all this information that you're gathering right now and fully integrate it at that time. But I feel like throughout this process, things are becoming more clear. We're seeing the past more clearly. We're understanding ways that our ego tries to protect ourselves, like self-destructive, self-sabotaging behaviors, because we think that is what we need to do to keep us safe. But now we're being asked to really break free from that, to really let go of these karmic patterns from the past, and to step into a whole new cycle, a whole new version of yourself, because of the astrology that's happening like in the beginning of next year. I've mentioned it many times throughout my videos, and all astrologers are talking about the conjunction in January of Saturn and Pluto. And so This conjunction happens, every 35-ish years. So for a lot of us, it's never happened before in our lifetimes. And I just feel that there's a major deconstruction going on within us, and a major reconstruction, a breaking down of the past and how we used to be and how we used to show up, and a rebuilding of what we want our lives is, this version of ourselves to look like moving forward. And so that leads us into the next card with the Queen of Wands. This energy is very much about being in her power and allowing herself to be seen and expressing and creating. And to me, this card is like, as we go through the Mercury retrograde, the washing clean of the past and the stories, like a lot of stories that we've been told to believe about ourselves. Maybe these stories have been reinforced in past lives. They've been reinforced with our family. They've been reinforced with society. I'm just going to be lightly crying throughout this whole video. And so this card to me is like a returning to your true essence. It's like a washing clean of all of the stories and the patterns that we've been doing, that society, that family, that just growing up, that we've been like shaped into this person based on what other people have been telling us about ourselves. And so I feel like this card is really coming back home into yourself and really remembering who you are at your true essence, and reinforcing that daily. So having these different practices that you can come to where you're in your authentic self, where you're able to creatively express in the ways that you'd like. So maybe that looks like creating a safe space for yourself, each morning to check in with your emotional body, to pull cards, to meditate, to draw, to journal, to dance, to play, to stretch, to whatever it is for you that just makes you feel at home within yourself. I think this card is asking us to do that and to feel strong in who we are and in our power throughout all of these changes that we've had this year. I mean, it's been a year. It's been an intense year of change and transformation, and we're still in Scorpio season. Scorpio energy represents just that. It's the sign of transformation. So it's been a lot this year. And I think right now it's a returning to ourselves. It's a remembering of who we are, who we were before all of the other shit came and clouded our perception of ourselves, and then really allowing yourself to be seen from that space. And by doing that, we're moving into the Knight of Cups, which is to really be moved by your emotions. So the stuff that we're stepping into right now, maybe it's not making a lot of sense to other people. Maybe, I feel like the steps that we're taking, the action that we're doing, the direction that we're feeling called to go in, it's a lot, it's based on our emotional body and what we've felt that's been true to us for a really long time. I don't think it's anything that new that's coming in, like, oh, now I know what I need to do. I feel like this has been a gradual shift or a gradual change of what we know we need to do and how we need to change our life. Like, the steps that we need to take in order to change our lives. It's like we've been feeling this change come for a long time, but I feel like we're finally at the place right now. And at the time of the Scorpio new moon, it was like having those flashes, those downloads of what this life is going to look like, even though it's been kind of hard to move forward, and we have some aspects happening in the sky today, tomorrow, like the next few days, where it's still not going to be super easy to move forward, but we're being asked to pause and to reflect before we're just like jumping forward into something. We're allowing this unfolding, the transformation to take place. And then, yeah, being moved by your emotions, trusting your gut, trusting your intuition, and in the direction that you feel called to go in. Yeah, the night is very much about like movement and taking action. And so I feel like we're slowly going in that direction. We're slowly kind of erasing or wiping clean, like cleaning, just washing ourselves clean of the past and those karmic stories, allowing ourselves to come into a more full expression of who we are, who we've known that we are for a long time, but it's just taken a lot of work to kind of return back to this place, needing to clean away the layers of bullshit that other people have that other people have been carrying, and then it just kind of reflects and like pushes onto us. And so needing to remember that that's not ours, that stuff was never ours. And in the Page of Cups, being moved emotionally to go in this direction, it's like a soul calling, like what feels intuitively, what feels right, what have you been wanting to do but that you've been too afraid to do. Basically, Scorpio energies, like your fears, its low road is being controlled by the fears, or just seeing kind of like the worst case scenario, just projecting unrealistic fears onto everything. And so now, by seeing those more clearly, it's like we're able to really open up into this new direction, because we see that the fears that we've been holding on to aren't real, they're not ours, they're not valid, and we have the strength within ourselves to know who we really are and what we deserve in the life that we want to live. And so this year has been a lot of change and transformation, and it's going to continue to unfold. I mean, we've got huge stuff happening in the astrology again in January of next year, that huge conjunction that's taking place. It's going to be like a rebuilding of the foundation of our lives, and I feel like we're kind of getting the pieces, putting the pieces together. And so at that time, we're going to be a lot more solid in this new life, this new version, this new direction that we're trying to go in, this new version of ourselves. Yeah, and I think on the other side of this, on the other side of like all these fears and the old life and the old patterns and all that old shit, on the other side of that, it's very scary to go in that direction. But on the other side of that is like all of the medicine that you need. The cards that were on the bottom of the deck when I first looked at it, it was balance. So I feel it's like, creating a new balance. By making all of these changes, we're really creating a new balance within ourselves, what we want our life to look like, just finding a new like happy medium or resting point for our lives. And it's also going to be met with celebration, with new friends, with new experiences. I feel like we're really cleaning up the past and being involved in different situations that just never fully resonated, or we've just grown out of them. And that's okay. It's okay to grow out of things. But really taking ownership for that, not just like, oh, like I've grown out of this, like goodbye to everything, but really with Mercury being retrograde, we're going back and we're really tending to that. We're looking at it deeper. We're cleaning it up. We're tying up the loose ends. So it's not just like a fuck all of that and into the next thing. It's like a process of understanding all of those experiences and really cleaning them up, tying up those loose ends so that you can fully go into this new direction without any strings attached to the past. Okay. I think that's all that I would like to share today. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this supports you at this time. If you would like to do a reading with me, I do astrology readings, I do tarot readings, and I do past life regressions. So you can see the services that I offer. You can read about the different readings through my site at cosmicguidance.online. You can book through there too if you'd like to book a reading with me. And I look forward to connecting with you. I hope that this supports you right now during Scorpio season. And yeah, I'll be back soon with more astrology updates. All right, take care.